Brian? Brian, are you there?
Huh? What? Sorry, I thought we were in Tampa Bay and I was tanning. As everybody knows, right now the Raptors are officially going to play the remainder of the season as their home games in Tampa. It's unfortunate, but I did tell you guys, Skip, can you recall this? The first 10 games of the season, the Raptors were 2-8.
Mm-hmm.
I did say I don't give about the first 10 games of the season.
You absolutely did say that, and I got to tip my cap to you. I'm not wearing one, but
Thank you.
my little fedora
Thank
if
you.
I had one.
Right now, since then, we are 30 games deep. The Raptors are 13-7. Hold on, can I say that again? The Raptors are 13-7.
Yeah, they've got the ship back on the tracks, or the train back on the tracks, I guess is the metaphor I'm looking for.
By the way, I'm sorry I didn't get to say good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, whatever time it is for you right now. Just know that you are locked on to the point with
Skip
and the King. You guys know where to find Simon Broder. Go get that book. I'm telling you guys. Amazon.ca, SimonBroder.com. Dougie J's on Twitter. Myself, King Hussein, on all social media platforms. To the Point on Instagram. To the Point on Facebook. To the Point on YouTube, which is where you guys better be watching us right now. Skipper.
Yep.
The Raptors. They're scoring. What? Pull this up. Go ahead. 114.2 points per game. Their opponents are scoring 109.5. That's in the plus. The points of the paint, they're in the plus. Because I've been watching you guys recently on a bunch of pages talking about, the Raptors need to get rid of Baines, they need a center, they need a big, they need this. I think like what we just said on our last episode is that it's that mentality of Kyle Lowry bringing the team together. They're playing as a team. There's a chemistry, okay? They're averaging 41.6 rebounds a game, which is in the top 10, okay? They're doing a lot right now. Now I got to ask you, Skip, over the last 20 games, or maybe even the last week, how do you feel about your Toronto Raptors?
I feel pretty good. I feel like they've reestablished themselves as exactly the team that we thought they were going to be coming into the season, which is to say, you lose some guys. You were sort of you were a contender, like a fringe contender last year, and you lose a couple guys. Maybe you drop back into being a first-round playoff team, a team that struggles to maybe get past the first round, plays a really good team in the first round, and has to have a bit of a hero series even to get to the second round. I think that's sort of what we thought the Raptors were going into the season. We thought they were a 5 seed, a 6 seed. And then they got off to that horrible start, and you were like, oh my God, is this a lottery team? Like, what are we watching here? But they're back to 500, and if you look at the underlying stats, they're one of the better teams in the East. Frankly, the East has completely settled down. After all that chaos at the beginning of the year, the top 6 teams are Milwaukee, Philly, Brooklyn, Boston, Toronto, and Indiana. Which is exactly
what happened to Cleveland and New York?
Yeah, those are exactly the top 6 teams that we thought they were going to be. And if you look at the underlying stats, the Raptors actually have better stats than even Boston and Indiana there. So their net rating I think is plus 2.7 right now, which is 4th in the East, right behind Brooklyn, Milwaukee, and Philly. And if you look at their Pythagorean record, like that's 17-13, like they should be a little better than 500. They've had their bumps and bruises. It's been a rough start, but they're fine.
First 10 games meant nothing.
Yeah. So I think kind of if you're looking at the season as a whole, what you're seeing is a team that used to consider itself a defensive juggernaut, like just a really great defensive team that just got up in you and didn't let you do anything. They've really slipped this year. And they're kind of slowly righting that ship. Like the offense has actually been okay, better than you think, but they've slipped because what's happening is they're so here's the thing. The Raptors are a gambling defense, right? Their whole vibe is we're going to get up in your face, we're going to steal the ball, we're going to get off on the fast break, we're going to dunk it on you. That's like what they do.
Steal Van Vliet had on Giannis the other day.
Van
that
Vliet
was great.
With the rip aways, like that's kind of what they do. And if you look at so last year they could do that, and they always had Gasol as that back line of defense. So it's like, you always got that rim protector. You always got that guy who knows exactly where to be, how to double it, how to double the ball, how to cover his man. Like basically just be in the right spots in the right times. So if you had the Raptors gambling all over the place, you always had that one guy in the middle. So this year they lost that guy in the middle. So this year they just play gambling defense. And sometimes they get scorched. Sometimes they get burned. Sometimes, well, the other thing is they give up a lot of threes because then they end up doubling and then they end up leaving somebody open, which is something they've always done a little bit. But they've really been getting burned with that this year. So I think basically they've just sort of managed to sort of figure out how to not be as good defensively without Gasol, but to have a defensive identity without Gasol.
Yes.
And that's this week we saw them kind of go small and play without Baines. Taking Baines out of the lineup was actually a really good move against Milwaukee. Milwaukee couldn't do anything. Once you're going up against like OG, Siakam, Van Vliet, and they even threw Bembry in there for the second Milwaukee game, I think. So those are all just really kind of good.
I'm loving Bembry right now.
Yeah, well, Bembry has really shown out this week. He's really come into his own as like an important bench player for this team. Like he is now one of the top 7 players, and this is a guy that like wasn't even playing to start the season, but he's the most important backup. I guess he's a 2 guard. I sort of think of him as like a 3-4.
And the defense from Watanabe too. That guy's putting his body on the line like almost every play.
Watanabe's been okay, but like Bembry's like the guy. Watanabe's like a guy you throw in like if someone's hurt or something. But Bembry is like he needs to be in there like playing 30 minutes every game. Anyway, back to my point. Like when they went small, they found this sort of identity of a switching defense, a stifling defense, a defense that could really double guys and still get back. And I think the most important thing about that is in that lineup, OG is your center. And that's kind of that's what they need to get to. If they're going to play small, Siakam plays a little bit of center, but OG has to be in there. And we actually saw in the Minnesota game, they had to go to Stanley Johnson at center because they didn't have OG and everyone else was playing like ass. But
language.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just saying they found something with the small identity, and I think we've seen it in fits and spurts this year with the defense, where they'll be that like punching defense that's impossible to score on, and then at times they're just super leaky. They just look like any other regular season NBA team, just giving up blow bys and layups and 3-pointers. So I guess that's my main point, is that I think the defense has just stepped up a little bit, not to the point where it was, but just to the point where they can be a good team again.
You said it, to the point.
To the point, yeah. So how do you think the Raptors have turned it around?
I think they're doing great, Skip. I've had confidence and I've had faith in them. Like I said at the beginning of this episode, the first 10 games did not mean nothing to me. Nothing. It meant zip, zero, zilch, nada. Forget about it. Right? I think the Raptors are on a good path. I think it's the way what you just said about the Eastern Conference, how everyth's starting to settle down, all the sediments are coming down to the bottom.
Yeah.
We see New York. We see how the Raptors are going to play out. Like we said before at the beginning of the season, that the Raptors are going to finish. We picked them to finish 6th in the Eastern Conference, and that's what it looks like right now. Right now, currently, as of this recording, they are they're 500. Right, 50% of the wins, same as Boston, your favorite team.
Wait, Did Boston follow it at 500?
Yep.
Oh wow.
Yep. Yeah. So they're right there. They're right on pace. They can compete. I'm so surprised that Philly is number one and it's not Milwaukee, but it's the Eastern Conference, and we know it's going to be tight at the top. At the top. Maybe not at the bottom, not like the Western Conference, but it's going to be tight at the top. And like I said at the beginning, man, I'm telling you, the Raptors are going to come in sixth place. There's no questions asked. Minimum sixth. Maybe if they get there together, they could come out to fourth and have home court advantage in the playoffs. Yeah. There's no need for the Raptors to tank. There's no need for the Raptors to blow it up. I see you guys out there, and I know you guys are saying this. There's no need for the Raptors to blow it up. They have a good core. They have a good team. They have some good young guys. Look at Malachi Flynn. He got 2 wins in one day on 2 different teams. What? Come on. You guys got to give it up. Okay?
Still didn't play that well, but that's okay. He's young.
Hey. He's a rookie. Yeah, what do you want him to do?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Most importantly, what we got to say is what you guys got to say. You know what to do. Go down there, click subscribe, click like, send us a comment, shout us out. No matter where you are, we'll get back to you, okay? Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, and
peace.